And thanks a lot for having us here today. My name is Nils, and I've been in the company now since 2006. I will take over as CEO starting from 1st of May this year. So what do we actually do at Lyme? At Lyme, we focus 100% of CRM, and we have done that for many, many years. We have done a fantastic journey in Sweden, and what we're trying to do is that we're trying to export that knowledge into Norway, Finland, Denmark, and now also Netherlands since this summer, so we can become the leading supplier from the Nordics within the CRM field. And we will do that by focusing on the end user, so we can make their day much simpler and also a more fun working day. We do everything by ourselves, so we develop, we sell, we implement, and we support our solutions throughout the Nordics. And we do many deals every year, more than a couple of hundreds deals every year. When we look at an implementation, we divide it into 3 different steps. We talk about structure, efficiency, and then at the top, the customer magnets. So talking about structure, if we look at the companies that we meet, they often have data in many, many different places. It could be Excel sheets, one for handling their pipeline, one for handling their prospects, one for handling their customers. They, of course, have Outlook or Gmail. They have folders on their shared server. So what we're trying to do is that we're trying to gather all that information into one place so it's accessible and searchable for all employees. When we have the foundation in place, then we can start working with the efficiency part. And that's when we do the integrations with the ERP softwares. It could be transferring a prospect into a customer from the CRM into the ERP, but it could also be transferring the financial data from the ERP into the CRM. It could be about marketing automation. So when someone signs up for a white paper, they should get an automated email day 1, day 7, and day 30. And if we reach our why, that's when we turn our customers into customer magnets, and that's our mission. So we would like to help our customers to become really, really good of sales and customer care so they can help their customer in a good way. If we look at Lyme today, we are operating, we have offices in 8 different locations. We have Sweden, we have Norway, we have Finland, we have Denmark, and now also Netherlands. And we are totally around 300 employees working only with CRM. And if we look at our key success factors over the years, and I would say the first bullet point here is really what Lyme is about, long-term profitable growth. If we look at the last 20 years, we have had an average growth of 19% and an average EBITDA margin of 25%. We are today selling subscriptions, and approximately 60% of our revenue is recurring revenue. As I started with, we do deals with many customers, and we have a large customer base, more than 5,000 customers today, and we have a low customer concentration. So our top 10 customers stands for less than 8% of our revenue. And if you would ask people about Lyme, what would they actually say? And I really hope and that they would say that we are a value-driven company, that we have a really, really good corporate culture, and that we have highly engaged employees, which is shown by a high employee net promoter score. That is 38 today. So the agenda, we will address the CRM market and I'll look at our position on the market. We will take a look at our 2 products, Lyme Go and Lyme CRM, our profit and loss, of course, our strategy and growth drivers going forward, and end up with the culture part. And of course, some questions in the end as well. So if we look at the CRM market, in 2018, Capgemini did a market study about the CRM market, and we can see that historically it has grown approximately 10 to 12% per year. If we look previous year in 2020 with the pandemic, of course, it was a very special year, and the estimation is that it was more or less a 0 growth. But going further and forward, we estimate that it will go back to normal levels again. If we look at what our market is worth, we can say that it's worth around 5 billion Swedish kronor today, and Capgemini states that the market will grow into 7 billion in 2023. If we look at the companies that operates in these markets, we can have approximately that 40% of these companies today already have a CRM system. But for us, that's a fantastic potential. It means that we have 60% of the companies within that market that still doesn't have a CRM system. And if we look at the deals that we do today, approximately 50% of the deals are replacement deals, where we replace Microsoft and Salesforce and so on, and 50% comes from the first-time buyers. Maybe they have Excel sheets, they have Outlook, and maybe an own-built system. If we look at our position on the market today, we are competing with Microsoft and Salesforce, more or less on all markets today. And they have an indirect model, so they work with resellers. And it often the big consultancy firms like Accenture, Capgemini, CGI, Deloitte, and so on. And what they focus on is the big implementations with a lot of hours, so they can implement it with many consultants. And if they succeed, maybe they do 5 to 10 implementation per reseller a year on the market. If we look at us, we do the opposite. We focus on a direct channel. So we don't have any resellers at all. We develop the software, we sell the software, we implement the software, we support the software, and we take care of the governance. So we work close with our customers in all steps of their journey as a customer for us. And I would say that our biggest unique selling point today, that's our support. So we handle more or less about 70% of all incoming tickets directly within the first contact with the customer. It could be chat, email, or phone, of course. If we look at the competitive landscape, we can divide it into the micro, the small business, medium, local enterprises, and the global enterprises. And we have decided to focus on small, medium, and local enterprises. The main reasons why we are leaving the micro and the global behind is that in the micro, there is a lot of competition. It's a lot of freemium software, and of course, the churn is quite high. If we look at the global ones, of course, as the name states, it's global installations, and you need implementation consultants on each market. But it also demands a lot of hours, and that's not our business model. So the competition in small, I would say that that's mainly the local competitors. It could be Web CRM in Denmark. It could be SuperOffice in Norway, Team Leader in the Netherlands, and also as local as Stockholm with Upsales. Within the medium and the local enterprises, it's mainly Microsoft and Salesforce. Our products, we have 2 great products today, Lyme Go and Lyme CRM. Lyme Go is a standardized product that we have packaged with our knowledge within sales and customer care. We launched it in 2014, so it's still quite early in the product life cycle, and today it only stands for 5% of our revenue. So what is Lyme Go about? All of you are familiar with Netflix and Spotify, and what they are doing with music and film, that's exactly what we do within Lyme Go. Because Lyme Go is fully packed with all the company and business information within the Nordics. That means that depending on how our customers behave in our software, then we can recommend them what type of customers they should be in contact with. So that makes Lyme Go a fantastic both inbound and outbound sales tool. Lyme CRM, on the other hand, the main uniqueness and the unique selling point of Lyme CRM is the flexibility. We have a little bit higher target group with 20 to 500 users, but I would say that our biggest user today is around 1,500 to 2,000 seats. And let me give you an example of the flexibility of Lyme CRM. One of my customers, BMW Financial Services, they have been a customer for many years, since 2010. And they, as all customers, they have the basic need. They would like to handle the contact persons. They would like to handle company information. They would like to handle to-dos, write notes, save documents. But their business model is so much more than just that. So in their solution, we need to handle all their drivers. And connected to the driver, they also need to see what kind of car is they're actually driving. They need to have fully control over the financial contracts that is signed by the contact person. And when someone calls, they need a ticket management system. So that means that we can adapt Lyme CRM so it really suits our customers' needs, but it has the basic functionality in the bottom. So we are very, very proud of our products, and we really like to sell and implement them. But I would say it's the combination of our products with all the features and us as a vendor that really creates the competitive advantage for us, that we work closely and we own the whole chain. We are primarily focusing on 4 verticals today. Utility, real estate, wholesale, and the consultancy business. And within these verticals, we should be the market leader. If we look at utility and real estate, that is segments that are very well defined. It's big deals, it's complex deals, and it's long sales processes with a high order value. Wholesale and consultancy, we do many deals every year within those segments. The order value is a little bit lower, and the complexity is not that high. So what have we done? We have packaged our knowledge within those verticals because we know what kind of pains these companies have. And we have a pre-built database that covers and solves those needs. Together with that, we have already standardized integrations towards the most common surrounding systems in their environment. And it means that we can be proactive both in our sales and marketing, so we can really drive the need of buying a CRM system. This is of course very important for us when we enter new markets, so we can keep a high focus. And today, those verticals stands for approximately 50% of our revenue. And if we do that good, that will spill over. And so we can sell the standard solution, which stands for the other 50% of our revenue. As I said, we do many deals per year, and we did that in Q4 as well, 2020. So the customer concentration is low, and as I said, the top 10 customers stands for 7.4% today, and the top customer only stands for 1.3%. And it has been declining, and we will continue to do that. We have done a lot of deals in Q4, and we can see a slightly increase towards our existing customers, mainly due to the pandemic, I would say. If we look at the P&L, one of our most important drivers is, of course, the ARR development. And the green bar here, we can see that it has a growth in Q4 of 20%. The pink part is our old service agreement when we sold the software upfront. It's still on a quite stable level, and it means that we maintain and keep our old existing customers. And I would say that the pink part here, as you can see, where it says 42, that's a great potential that we have. That's revenue coming from our old upfront customers. They pay a yearly service agreement. And if we look at that, that's worth around 10 euros per user a month. That should be compared to the new subscription customers that pay approximately 50 euros per user a month. And what we will do is that we will try and start converting them into a subscription model. And in that, we have approximately a potential of around 150 to 200 million Swedish kronor going forward. We have 4 different revenue streams, and we started the transformation of our company, Lyme, in 2015. And you can see the blue thing here with that we had a upfront revenue was around 28%, and today it's less than 1%. We have done the opposite journey in the subscription part, whereas today it's around 45%. As I said, we have a quite stable level on the service agreement, and we continue to have growth in our expect services as well. So looking at the revenue, in Q4, we had a growth of 14%, and the organic part was 13%. And if we look at the last 12 months, we ended up as a total growth of 17%. We can see that split by geography that the Sweden had a growth of 15%. But we can also see that the countries outside Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, they were much more affected since the societies was closed down and only had a growth of 8%. And of course, that's something that we're not satisfied. And we can also see that if we look at the traction across the geographies, where Sweden had a growth the last 12 months of 17% and the rest of the countries 16%. If we look at the profit, we had good EBITDA development, and we ended up at 31.4% in Q4 2020. And if we look at the last 12 months, we ended up at 29.3%. On the right-hand side, you can see that we kept the EBITDA margin on a quite stable level during the transformation from upfront to subscription, and it was around 22-23%. Now, as I said, the transformation is more or less over, and starting from Q4 19, we can see that we have a nice growth in our EBITDA margin. If we look at our OPEX, if we look at the personal expenses in percentage of net sales, that is going down, which means that we have a good scalability in our business model. And the last 12 months, it goes down from 58.7 down to 54.3. If we look at the other operating expenses, I would say here that we have a bit of a positive corona effect, where we of course can save costs, but I would estimate that that's around like 8 million Swedish kronor. But on the other hand, if we wouldn't have had corona, then I would say the top line would have been more than those 8 million. So what's our strategy going forward? As I started with, we are operating in a market where we have 10 to 12% growth. And of course, that's good in itself, because that gives us a good starting point. We have done it very good in Sweden, and we have established Norway, Finland, Denmark for a long time, but we haven't really seen the effect. So we have a great potential in the Nordic countries. We opened up Netherlands now during August 2020. So we have that as a market that will come in a couple of years. And we will continue to evaluate new markets going forward. We have a large existing customer portfolio, more than 5,000 customers. So we have done a couple of acquisitions in the past, and so we have a great upselling potential. And as I mentioned, we have the old customers where we can transform them from the old service agreements into the new subscription model going forward. We will continue to focus a lot on our products, both to develop new add-ons by ourselves, of course, but also look into the mergers and acquisitions going forward. And that's what we are looking for, is more the add-ons to strengthen our product portfolio, both to new and to our existing customers going forward. And we will continue to focus on our 4 verticals: utility, real estate, wholesale, and the consultancy business. If we look at the culture part, and this is, as I started with, a really, really important part of Lyme's DNA. We put a lot of effort into this because one of our biggest success factors is that we are very good at recruiting and onboarding new employees. Last year, we had more than 5,000 candidates applying for jobs at Lyme. And we hired around 70 people, new people, in 2020. And we will continue to recruit more people. One fun thing last year was that 50% of all new recruits were women. Usually, we take the new recruits and onboard them in our headquarters in Lund for 5 weeks. Then they continue the path of a trainee for the next coming 10 months. Now, in January, we'd had to do the first onboarding digital, and the feedback, I would say, has been good. The new stars has mentioned that they feel it has been a good introduction. But I would say that we know how important it is to really get everybody down to Lund, get them to meet each other, and that's how we build our fantastic culture going forward. I mentioned the employee net promoter score. It's on a good level today, 38, but we can see that it has decreased the last couple of months. And I would say that it's the feedback, and when we look into it, it's mainly due to the corona, that people are missing seeing each other and are tired working from home. So we are really looking forward when we can meet everybody again. So finally, our financial targets. And if we look at that, we say that our sales growth should be above 18%. And if we look at the last 12 months, we made it to 17. The EBITDA margin should be above 25. And in the last 12 months, we made it to 29.3%. The net debt in relation to EBITDA should be less than 2.5, and today it's only 0.1. And we should have a dividend policy that should correspond to at least 50% of the net profit. And the proposal that is on the table today is 53%, which means 250 Swedish kronor per share. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nils, for a really interesting presentation, quite extensive. I hope I can find some things to cover still. On the more soft side, you will take over as the new CEO, May 1st, as you said. Congratulations. This classic question, how does it feel and what should we expect from you as a CEO going forward?
Exactly, the sport question. No, but of course it feels fantastic. I really look forward to take on this role and to take on this challenge. I've been in the company for 15 years, and we have a good strategy already today. But of course, we will try to increase, and we have new financial targets which we are trying to reach with higher growth, of course.
I see. I suppose you wouldn't want to answer the next question directly, but do we stand for see some, dramatical changes in your, first time as a CEO, establishing your own territory, so to say?
No, but Lyme is very much that we do things together, and we have a great management team, and that has been in the company for a long time. I've been here for 15 years, so of course we have taken the decisions together. But what I would like to focus on is, of course, to really improve the competitiveness in our products, to invest even more there, both individually with our own development team, but also with M&As. And I will also look into new markets so we can expand into more countries within Europe.
Perfect. Are there any particular markets that you find interesting at this stage, besides the ones you already mentioned in the Nordics and in Netherlands?
We are looking into a couple of markets, of course, and mainly the beer drinking countries, I would say. So the Dutch region, UK, Germany, and so on. So there is a couple of alternatives going forward.
I see. And also, you mentioned this in your presentation, but what would you say are your most important growth drivers, top line?
No, but I mean, we have for us, even if we will continue to do acquisitions to strengthen our product portfolio. The main growth driver at Lyme is the organic growth, and that is to both use our existing customers to give them more value by adding new add-ons within the software, but also to focus on the verticals. And on top of that, we will continue to look into acquisitions, both for the markets, but also to add more value within the software.
Yeah, and you often come back to the products. You want to invest more in the products. You want to acquire new products to widen your product offering. And you also mentioned in the report that you have discontinued a couple of acquisition discussions. as the products did not live up to your expectations. Can you elaborate a little on that?
No, but I mean, we have a large customer portfolio today. So I mean, and they buy things from Lyme. And we have a good relationship with our customers. So, and we would like to help them to cover the needs that they have, not only one part of the journey. So, for example, when we look at customer service, going on there, we have chat tools, we have AI that we can help them to be even more customer-centric and effective in their daily work. And that's why we look into adding new add-ons within our products.
I see. So you also mentioned that you probably would have had a much stronger top line hadn't it been for the pandemic. How exactly, do you know more in detail how the pandemic affects your customers and their buy solution decision?
Yeah, but I would say that starting from mid-March approximately, of course, everybody panicked and we could see a drop in new sales. And of course, then more or less all the decisions were paused. Luckily, I would say that we have our existing customers, and they continue to invest and they continue to improve their solutions all the time, so we can sell more things to them. But we also have the 4 verticals, and each vertical are differently affected of the pandemic. Of course, the consultancy business are more affected, but if we look into the utility and the real estate businesses, I mean, they are quite often public owned, and people still need electricity and they need somewhere to live. So they are not that much affected and continued to do investments. So we have, I would say, a quite good balance, but we can see that it was a drop in new sales. The countries outside Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, I mean, that societies closed down. That affected us more than it did in Sweden. So I'm very proud of how we have handled the pandemic as a company, and that everybody has had the tiger mentality to really push their limits.
And have you seen what signs of is this status quo all the time now, or have you seen like signs that it is becoming easier for your customers to act?
Yeah, I would say so. It comes new restrictions all the time. I would say today it was new restrictions in Norway, if I'm not mistaken. So, of course, that affects, but we can see that we have had a good order intake starting more or less since June. So then we have growth in our order intake. Of course, we don't know how good it would have been if it wasn't the situation that we are in. But I would say that we can see that things are improving all the time.
I saw in your presentation your EBIT margin was as an all-time high, way surpassing your financial targets.
Yeah.
Is there a limit to how profitable you can become? Will you choose to, at some level, reinvest all the money into product development, or how should we view it?
But you're totally right there. It's on a very high level today, and we will prioritize growth towards profit. So I mean, we are trying to invest, and we have hired 70 people and we are trying to invest in sales and marketing. So we are doing investments all the time. And for example, now in Netherlands, of course, that's an investment. We will not see any big results in Netherlands in 2021, but this is for the future. So we have a market taking off, and that's the long-term profitable growth that we will head for. And but growth is prioritized.
That's a clear message.
Yeah.
So finally, what do investors have to look forward to from Lyme in 2021, if you just summarize a few key bullets?
No, but I think, I mean, we have our financial targets, and of course that's a good guideline to what they should expect, or what you should expect. And I would say that Lyme is about long-term profitable growth. And that's what you should expect from Lyme, that we should deliver over time, both on growth and on EBITDA margin.
Okay. Thank you very much, and good luck on your journey.
Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.